Hey, film fans, so I just seen the recently released, and I mean released 3 days ago, movie Violent Night. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not even sure where to start with this film, okay? When a team of mercenaries breaks into a wealthy family compound on Christmas Eve, taking everyone inside hostage, the team isn't prepared for a surprise combatant. Very tipsy Santa Claus. He's on the compound and he's about to make it show why he ain't no Saint Nick. I mean, it sounds good enough. So because this movie's so new, I had to do some digging. So right now, this film has a 70% on the Rotten Tomato meter. I'll accept that considering it's such a new film. Like, it's only 3 days old, so a lot of people probably haven't got around to seeing it yet. So that 70% could go up, it could go down, it could change. Right now, I think 70 is a nice, solid number for this film. Because it's so new, I had a hard time actually finding what is grossing in the box office so far. And it's actually placing at number 2 in the box office right now, below Wakanda Forever, with $20 million in the box office in 3 days. That was its entire production budget. So it's now made that back in 3 days. Considering this film was a $20 million production budget film, that's lowest of the low-end budget. It is actually really, really well done. This movie's loaded with action. There's gunfights, there's stars and eyeballs, there's Christmas lights around someone's neck, pool balls in a sock. Like, there's so much that goes on in this film. It's ridiculous. It's a bit of a gore fest, so if you're not into those kind of gory movies, I probably wouldn't recommend this particular film for you. But it's absolutely action-packed. It flows very nicely. There's a scene, and then there's some action, and then there's another scene. It's not, I want to fast forward this and get it over with kind of action flick. The CGI in this movie is really well done. Even though it was minimal, considering that it only had a $20 million budget, I am super, super impressed with just the CGI and the way this movie flowed fairly well together. This poor guy, like, poor Santa is just getting his behind kicked into next Christmas until he finds his new best friend hidden in a garage, a double-handed sledgehammer. I've never seen someone so excited to get a sledgehammer. Like, those things are heavy. This becomes his main weapon, and this is where you start seeing who he was before he became Santa, which I kind of liked that they did tweak in a little bit of a backstory for him and what he used to do. And the hammer scenes are ridiculous with the way he attacks these military-grade trained mercenaries with a sledgehammer. And wins. There's no words for this. This movie is the epitome, the absolute epitome of childhood innocence, okay? This little girl believes Santa can save her and gives him the courage to save Christmas, as, you know, as lame as that sounds. The only things that really bother me about this movie, and you will notice it if you've either seen it or you're planning on seeing it or you're going now to see it, this movie hinges on Die Hard. There's a lot of scenes in particular with some very interesting language that sounds like they walk straight out of the Die Hard movies. And those references are there, and they will scream at you. The other thing is Home Alone. Within the opening scene of this movie, they say the little girl has seen Home Alone and is now excited. And later on, whenever she's stuck in the bad guy's mansion, you see this reference come out again. that becomes very Home Alone. And though I enjoy when directors take aspects from other films and put it into one, it kind of loses some of its originality for me. But it was still funny, and it was still like perfect scene, and it's definitely something you would have seen Macaulay Culkin do in the Home Alone movies, the original two. The other thing, right at the end, there's a big fight. Santa doesn't look so good. And everyone is standing around, and eventually the little girl says, Santa, I do believe in you. And then every other person in that specific area says, I believe. And Santa comes back to life. Where have we seen that before? For any of you that think this sounds familiar, Peter Pan. This happens in Peter Pan with Tinkerbell. She starts dying, she starts being sick because the world doesn't believe in magic anymore, and the children don't believe in magic anymore. And then when everybody starts saying, I do believe, I do believe, I do believe, I believe it's I do believe in fairies. Whenever the children start saying this and Tinkerbell is resurrected again, those two similarities I didn't miss. It's a magic thing, but I thought it was kind of neat that they referenced an old movie, but at the same time, you're missing a little bit of an aspect of originality here. So I would recommend this film. It's a great action film. It's funny. It's rated R, so definitely not a family film. But I definitely recommend checking this out. Like, it's great, and I think a lot of action lovers and just those quirky, Christmas movies, you guys would really enjoy this. But for me personally, I am going to give it a 3 out of 5 stars on the Rotten Tomato scale, simply because of the fact that they lost a lot of originality with taking at least 3 different movie references, and given the fact that it was a lower budget movie, I think it could have been better if they would have had more to work with, but of course, that can go with any movie, right? This is a 3 out of 5 for me. Let me know what you guys think about it. Don't forget to hit that sub button, leave a comment down below. I will try to answer everyone. Until next time, film fans, keep watching.